we have an individual on TikTok. He goes by at Bacteria Baby. That's his handle, at least. His name is Ryan, who took to the internet as a Gen Zer to talk about why he's not getting drafted. Take a listen.
Why is everybody saying Gen Z is gonna get drafted? Like, no, the we're not. Like, how are they gonna actually force us to get up and go to war? I understand it was like that in like the 1940s. What else is there to do in 1940 besides shoot people? We have things to do nowadays. We have twerk, be bisexual, eat hot chip, lie. And we're also like really mentally ill. What makes you think I'm qualified to have a gun?
I appreciated seeing this video because it is an example of exactly what I am talking about. The weakening of men, the stage that we are in, the crisis that we are facing in America, because this is your average 18 to 21-year-old.
Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I would like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rekal Quadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and who taught me this truth. And peace and blessings with all sincerity to the hopeful elect. It's Zachariah coming at you with another lesson, and Lord's willing, it be edifying. So I want to touch on this article by Insider, which is entitled, "The Ukrainian Draft Dodgers Who Don't Want to Go to War Against Russia." Now, before I get into this article, let me grab my first precept. This is 2 Ezra chapter 15 and verse 26. "For the Lord Yahweh knoweth all them that sin against him, and therefore delivereth he them unto death and destruction." And we know that the scriptures states that the Lord kills and makes alive, he wounds, he heals. Okay, and no one can be taken out of the hands of the Lord. He's in control of everything. The issues of death, okay, a matter of fact, belongs to the Lord, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. And if you're on his hit list, you know, there's no way around it. Okay, you're a dead man walking. So let's get into this article. All right. It reads, "At the start of its summer counteroffensive, Ukraine recruited soldiers with the slogan, 'Bravery conquers fear.' But as the war heads for its 600th day with no end in sight, some Ukrainians have renounced their nation's call to arms and are looking for ways to avoid being drafted." Artem, a 21-year-old whose name has been changed to protect his identity but is known to Insider, was born and raised just outside of Kyiv. He told Insider he's desperate to leave Ukraine to escape being drafted and had already attempted one escape. His family has been deeply affected by the conflict. He spoke with insiders alongside his father, Balden, whose name has been changed to protect his identity, a carpenter in peacetime who speaks English. Balden, a soldier of the National Guard of Ukraine, had recently returned after surviving intense fighting on the East Front. Balden's unit suffered significant casualties while stationed near, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Skartov, all right, and the Siberiansky forest, he told insiders. And he was one of the few who survived without injuries. He said he didn't want his son to endure the same fate. Recently, Artem decided to try and flee despite martial law prohibiting him from leaving Ukraine. All right. And what does the scripture say? All right. You know, the scriptures talks about, you know, in these last days, all right, there's going to be martial law, checkpoints, famines, race wars, death. OK, so much so that it has never been seen before on the face of the earth. You know, you can add up all the world wars, World War I and World War II. OK, them together won't compare to this third world's war that's about to take place. All right. So real quick, this is 2nd Esdras 15, and where is it? 17. I'll start at 16. For there shall be sedition among men and invading one another, all right, such as what's going on between Ukraine and Russia right now. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able, because, Salakia, for because of their pride the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid, like what's happening in Ukraine right now. Okay? And like what's happening over there in Gaza. Okay? The same chaos that you're witnessing over there in those countries is going to spread throughout the four corners of the earth. Okay? Expeditiously, once the Third World War officially commences. Okay, where was I? For because of their pride, the cities shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay? Now back to the article. It reads, Bodans, a witness to the horrors of war, supports his son's attempt to avoid being called up. Right. You know, if anybody has ever been in war or experienced war or met somebody who has gone through a serious war, you know, or heard stories or even seen these movies, man, war is nothing to play with. It's a dreadful time, man. All right. Death all around you, people losing limbs, the screams, the hollers, the sickness, the smell. All right. Of course, he wouldn't want his son to experience what he had experienced on the front line. Okay. But let me jump down because I want to stick to the point. Here we go. It says, speaking of Artem, his son, it reads, his escape plan involved crossing over. Matter of fact, let me start up here. Artem added, he's also disenchanted by the lack of opportunities in the country's war-crippled economy. His escape plan involved crossing over into Romania. He took a westbound train to a town near the border, but when he got off, he and the other men on board were confronted by police officers about why they were traveling within 20 miles of the frontier. Artem said that several of them were taken to a police station and questioned further before being put on a bus that took them back deeper into Ukraine. And you have to remember too, Artem, this man's son is not, he's under the draft age. So he's trying to flee and get out of Ukraine before he gets to the draft age. Okay. Or before they change the laws and lower the draft age to make him have to fight because they're losing so many men. It says one of the men caught was in his 50s and traveled with his wife and child. Artem later learned that he was taken straight to a military registration and enlistment office to join the army. Artem said the father and son lived together in the family's home Bohdan built himself. His wife and daughter are refugees in Belgium. My family is divided, Bohdan told Insider. All right. Let me see if there's any more I want to get out of this. All right. I think that was the main point. All right. That he tried to, escape. And one of the men were 50, man. The guy was 50 years old and they sent him back. And that's the thing. The draft age is going to go out the window. Okay, because no matter what, when they need bodies, okay, once all these bodies hit the meat grinder, because the weapons of today have been perfected, and you can kill hundreds of thousands of men with the push of a button. Once all these men go into the meat grinder, it's not going to matter how old you are. They're just going to want to have bodies to man guns and to send into that meat grinder. Okay. Okay, so he said they got caught. And let me scroll down a little bit more. Salakia, Akim. Okay, right here. It says, Bodan agreed that prospects were grim for his only son. Even if he's not sent to the front, there is not much work or quality education for young men during wartime. So some of them want to leave, but they can't, he said. In the meantime, Artem said he was contemplating whether it's worth trying to flee Ukraine again. Young men at a checkpoint near the border told me not to bother trying, Artem told Insider. They warned that the forests ahead were filled, Salakia, the forests ahead were full of bears and snipers. Insider could not verify the claim regarding snipers. The route into Romania often involves a risky crossing over the Carpathian Mountains, which is home to brown bears and wolves. All right, that's going to bring up my next precept. All right, this is Ecclesiasticus chapter 39, and we're going to start at verse 28. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Right, and who made them? The Lord, Jehovah Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, the Father of spirits. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. And here's the point that I wanted to get out of this. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction. All right. So, hey, so he told him, man, they told him, bro, I don't know if you want to try it again. I mean, you can try, you can try another, escape route. But if you go that route, there's bears waiting on you and snipers. OK, so there's no way to escape the Lord's judgment, man. There's no way to escape the Lord's judgment. This young guy trying to escape the draft might run into a damn grizzly bear in that forest or in those mountains, and it may rip him apart. A slow, painful death. OK, instead of going to war and catching a bullet in the head and going night. So, man, it's a cruel thing to fall into the hands of the Lord, man. All right. He can get you any which way he wants. Any which way he wants. All right. Matter of fact, let me get another precept. Because all these things that are happening, until what? The coming day of our Lord, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Okay. This is Amos chapter 5 and verse 18. Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. Right. Woe meaning destruction. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord Yahweh is darkness and not light. As if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him. Right. You running from one calamity. And while you're running from that calamity, you run straight head first into another one. Okay. Man, anyway, as if a man did flee from a lion and a bear met him, or went into a house and leaned his hand on a wall. Right, leaned his hand on the wall because he just escaped the bear and the lion, put his hand on the wall just to take a breather. And then what happens? And a serpent bite him. Shall not the day of the Lord Yahweh be darkness and not light? Even very dark and no brightness in it. Right, the times that we're coming into, man, no brightness is going to be in it unless you're a hopeful elect, unless you're a man of the Lord, unless the Lord has the wall around you. that mark of exemption. Okay? And if you're not an Israelite, and not only an Israelite, but someone who has been doing the things that are pleasing to the Lord, then the Lord will not be with you in these times to come. It's just that simple. And open season is going to be on your head. All right? It's going to be open season on your head. All right? So it says, while Artem considers his next move, he awaits a fine for his attempt to leave Ukraine unlawfully. It's not an imprisonable offense. He hasn't received a letter yet, but estimates it will be about 27 American dollars. All right. So, hey, man, try to flee all you want, man. Try to flee all you want. No one can flee from the day of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah. Okay. A cruel day, which is darkness and not light. Okay. So, is there anything else I wanted to get? I think I'm gonna leave it there. I don't want to make it too long. So, Lord's willing, this was edifying. Shalom Israel. Wa Abad Babal.